This is the first video for the Global Learning Project Plan, and in this video will be the outline of the project. In our project, we have to interact with somebody who is culturally different from us. So I have chosen my roommate. She is a math major. She is Danish, and she's from Michigan State. So the first thing I noticed right off the bat was that we're from different states. I'm from Pennsylvania and she's from Michigan. So we are going to automatically speak differently. Our diction is going to be a little different. Slang we use, even the way we dress, because we have to acclimate to weather differences. And then nationality, she's Danish. I don't know anything about that culture, which I'm sad about. I really wish I knew more. And then I'm Chinese, so that's obviously different. Okay, and then the next thing is that she's a math major, whereas I am a music education major, so we are on a different spectrum altogether. Math, music, they don't really work together, except that with music you have to count, but that's not important. Okay, first thing that I'm thinking about to interact with my roommate is to get involved with her social life, where I could go to a meal with her, see who her friends are, who she associates with, who she likes to hang out with. So with that, I would know a little bit more about how she associates, what kind of people she likes to hang out with. Are they also the same nationality? They have the same culture ideas. So that's one. Second one is that to learn a new skill together. So with that, because we're culturally different, we also learn how to do things differently. We have a different approach about everything. So if we were to do something together and learn something new, we would definitely take the task at hand and do it differently. So I really want to see what I can learn from that. And then the last step, if it's even possible, since she doesn't live very far from the campus at all, if I could actually go with her home on the weekend and go to her hometown, I would be literally just going straight into the biggest form of culture that she has, because her home is everything from birth to now, as long as she hasn't moved, which I don't know. But if I were to go into her hometown, I'd be right in the center of all the information I could get. It's like her hometown is like a nucleus. The nucleus is the center. So, now, when am I going to try to do this? I think it's important to not just do one day, but to get a few days so we can have some more information, see if there's anything different one day opposed to another day. Also, weather, the environment, anything that can come up is all variable. Variables are very important when we're trying to figure something out and get some information. So, hopefully I could do some interactions during this week, over the weekend, if it's possible, and then maybe a little bit next week, depending on how much time I need to do each step. So, what and why is this important? I think that's really important that we get to know somebody that's culturally different from us, because in our day-to-day living, most of us don't really take the time to know and get to know somebody by their culture, by what they are used to and what they are brought up to be. In psychology, nature versus nurture really takes a big role in us, but in psychology it said that nurture is more important than nature, which is the genes that you get from your parents. Nurture is how you are brought up, so that will affect how you act, reactions, how you feel, different things, like who you will be when you grow up. So that's the same thing culturally. By the culture aspect, you are going to act a little bit differently from every single person because your culture is going to be different. So that's why I think it's really important to get to know somebody by their culture, not only just for what they're doing and when you meet them, etc. So in details now with each interaction, the first step I would do for the first one, by involving myself with her social group, I would just tag along with her while she goes to a meal. Or I could go to a club that she's in, just see what she's interested in, because clubs are really, really, really important to us. It really makes us feel at home. Okay. Also, sport. If she's in a sport, I could go watch her play in a sport. Or I don't have to participate, but I can just sit there and see who else is there. Because every single idea of each place, like a club, a sport, eating with people, you're going to have a social group. They might not all be the same, but in each one there's going to be some type of cultural similarity that my roommate feels comfortable with. Not always, but usually. So, but we don't want to get the social aspect confused with cultural aspects. So, socially, we're going to do a social thing, but in each social activity, there's culture involved. So that's where I'm getting at. Okay, the next thing with learning a new skill together, say we were to build a dresser. All the drawers, the sides, top, bottom, you know how it works. Because we're culturally different and we're brought up differently with a different culture, we might start the project differently. I might start with, if it was just like the very beginning where like nothing was together, drawers weren't together, like the drawer and the, each bar that comes out weren't together, maybe I would start with doing the drawers, whereas my roommate might start with the outside perimeters. Because as I said, culturally, we are taught how to do things differently. So she might start with one thing, I might start with other thing. It would be really interesting to see how differently we would put something together, or how differently we would do a skill. That's one of the aspects of doing a new skill. And the last one, if I were to go with her to her hometown, as I said, your hometown is like the nucleus. Everything ends up back in the center. If I were to place myself smack dab in the middle of her hometown, I would be able to follow her around and see what she likes to do on a regular basis, what she does daily, where she likes to go, who she likes to see, what she does for free time. So all that goes back to how her culture influences her, because every single culture is different. So her culture is different from mine. Another thing with hometown, I think, as I've read, my hometown is a lot bigger and hers is a lot smaller. So maybe when I came to Michigan State, I could be more comfortable with the huge campus that we're on, but maybe my roommate is not as comfortable. But you can also take in fact into hand that she is from Michigan, so she could already be very comfortable. She only lives about 45 minutes away. So you have to take those factors into consideration. So that is the end of my video. So I'm really excited to take part in this project, and I hope I get a lot of information, and I'm really excited to get the results from this video. Thank you so much for watching.